Well, Henshaw here again, otherwise known as the Big Troublemaker. And we got yet another update on the Oakland case. It just gets weirder and weirder as time goes on. My friend and I had a meeting with defense counsel last week, and her son's the one that's in jail. I'm trying to get him out of jail, and we went there, good faith effort to try to see if we can at least get in the same book, if not on the same page. And that was a 20-minute conversation. It was a total waste of time. I ought to sue him to recover damages for the amount of money I spent going to and from. But this is an attorney. And if I had made a recording of this, the subject matter for another video, by the way, and you listen to this video, I would let fourth graders listen to it and ask and tell me who they thought the attorney was and who they thought the idiot was. It's a no-brainer. I'm the one, as you see what I do with videos, I cite case law a cappella off the top of my head and often with a lot of details about it, which makes it even better. And I did that for about the entire time that we were there. And all this idiot says, well, that's your interpretation of the law. People, look out. That's code from the American Bar Association. That's code speak, which means that we don't know what the hell the law is and we're too embarrassed to admit it, and we're going to ignore you anyway because we have the power to do it. That's exactly what it is I'm trying to change out there. And in the course of this case, it may just do it. Because with the record we now have and the affidavits we have, we can prove everything. This guy has no intention of obeying the wishes of his client, otherwise known as principal. This is a principal and agent relationship, attorney-client, assistance of counsel. He's not going to do any of it. And by the time we talked to him, it had been 6 weeks or a little bit more since he'd been appointed in that ex parte hearing I mentioned the last time, where the kid wasn't even in the courtroom at any time. He was upstairs in a holding cell. And his attorney gets appointed ex parte. So officially, quote unquote, he still isn't counsel of record. Now, he's met with the kid a couple of times and flat out refused to do what he wants. But if you refuse to do what your principal asks, what do you think is going to happen? You get fired. And we're going to be looking into that and trying to get him appointed other counsel and or get myself, yours truly, appointed, as private attorney general if necessary, to put a defense on. Because this is how bad this is. They don't think we have any right to put a defense on. And basically because if you owe your citizenship to that good old 14th War Amendment, the government owns you and you don't have any rights. How many people do you suppose would have ratified that amendment if they had known what I just said in 1868? And it takes 75% would have been well under 10%. So that's the way that is. There's no consent of the government here whatsoever. And this whole exercise, and I wrote a 10-page affidavit the day after, and I've now sent out documents by certified mail to Governor Gruesome up there in Sacramento, and the local DA, the president of the State Bar Association, and I'm asking her in particular to order your agent to do the job he's supposed to do. Isn't he supposed to defend his client and get him out of jail? And I'm sitting there with multiple unopposed issues, 6 or 7 of them, any one of which would do that job. Why isn't he doing it? Isn't that what he's supposed to do? Isn't that what you would want your defense counsel to do? But the problem they have is any one of the issues successfully used begins the process of undoing what I call the malignant, malevolent monopoly of the state bar on the practice of law. It puts them out of business. We call that, where I come from, an irreconcilable conflict of interest. And that's exactly what we have here, and there's more than one of those. This is a huge one. With counsel, they're not going to do it because they're going to put themselves out of work. That's not our problem, is it? Damn, I mean, they're supposed to be doing the job and being trained in common law. And by the way, the California Business Profession Code says that they're supposed to be trained in common law. And yet they apparently don't have a clue. And of course, those of you would know that California was admitted as a common law state in 1850. It isn't one now, but that's what it was admitted as. And maybe your state too, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. Your state was admitted before 1861. You're in the same situation. And yet we don't have any common law courts, so why do they need to know common law? It's just one thing after another here. Now, if this doesn't encourage the dumbass to throw in the towel and dismiss charges or maybe offer a time served plea deal, which I've already told the kid to go ahead and take, we can deal with that because they never had jurisdiction. They will never be able to prove it. So even if you get a quote unquote conviction for a felony on the record, that's going to go away before this is all over. It's just the way that is. But this couldn't have played out any better. I thought from day one with this case, that I met the gal here, luckily a local case, and she's up to speed in a lot of areas of law, which is a good start. And her kid in jail is doing his part. We're attacking him three different ways here. That's the best possible scenario I could have. Because we get this one done, and especially if it gets on the record. And I'm here to tell you that that isn't going to happen, but if it does, that one case undoes. I mean, that's the big step toward achieving our goal of getting rid of these bastards and getting the government back we're supposed to have. That's what it is I was put here to do. And I've still got, with a little luck, 8 or 10 years here, good ones, to try to accomplish that objective. And you can do the same thing. It isn't that hard. You get my documents, send me an email about that at youwinincourt@gmail.com, and I'll send you information on acquiring all my packets. And you can hit your local dumbass with the same 800 pages that we did in Oakland. 800 pages in August. Not a single word from the dumbass who has the sworn duty to answer these documents, especially the Bill of Particulars. Because when they don't do that, they're saying, in effect, we don't have to tell you a damn thing. You do not need to know what jurisdiction you're in. You do not need to know the rules of the game. You don't need to know the elements of the crime. And you don't need to know who the injured party is. And this last one's a real biggie because that means you can't invoke your right of confrontation and cross-examination. They don't care. And they don't think they have to. That's another big change that I want to, as a result of this Oakland case, and it's getting really bad in terms of the pocketbook, what they're going to have to pay. But what I really want is for them to change the way they do business so this doesn't happen again. If we get them to do that, that starts the process across the country, and it will reach your jurisdiction too, because they're going to realize they've got a serious problem here. Now, as a result of the plea deal we're going to have in the civil case, I may not be able to talk about that as much as I would like to do, but the deal is going to be, okay, next case, maybe your case, if we work together on your case out there, we can say, all right, call the people in Oakland here, we got a name and a phone number, call them and ask them. They will tell you that we brought a claim and they settled it. That may be all you get, but that tells you that these efforts are successful, and it tells the dumbass in your jurisdiction, we're going to get them too. And that's what we need to start doing, and it won't take that long, and especially if we get some of these people thrown in jail here, and or worse. And I suggested to some of the official actors here that if you're not familiar with the penalty for treason, you ought to review the case of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, 1953. And I'm not up to speed on that case, I concede that here, but as far as I can tell, there's a very good possibility that they did nothing wrong. For those of you that don't know, they were the ones that allegedly leaked the secrets of the American nuclear bomb to the Russians. I suspect that was very much an inside job, and they were scapegoats. Like I said, I'm not fully up to speed on that like I am with the case of Lee Oswald, quote unquote, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, and both of them got 2,000 volts up there in Austin, New York at the time. So that's what we need to see a lot more of here. And how many of these black road batteries do you think it's going to take to get 2,000 votes so we get our message across here? If that's what it takes, if we have no peaceful remedies and you're committing acts of treason, you'd better be prepared here. Acts have consequences. I learned that when I was growing up, but not a lot of people in these younger generations do. Not to mention words mean things. And I've always been very careful about that, even as a relatively young, second, third grade. I understood that. And all my writings have reflected it, and especially what I do nowadays with my document packets. And like I say, you can get more information on those. Send me an email at youwinincourt@gmail.com, and tell your friends and like the videos. And, we will go from there. I'll have another Oakland update. But we're probably not going to do any more videos now until next year. But we may have a big one. We may have a dismissal there. and we might even have a settlement. That's how quick, because they know, they've got to know. They can't be this ignorant. Although this idiot that we just talked to, but this is the rank and file. And I hope, like my friend in Southern California says, the basic problem is just a massive amount of ignorance. They're not taught in law school. But the people at the head of these bar associations and people in those kind of positions are, they know better. And that's another change I'd like to see coming. Of course, the big deal here is if we went across the board here, now guess what? You don't need a license to practice law. And that's the first thing I told the pastors in Columbia, South Carolina, after being 2 months getting there for my first court appearance, and they read the charges, and I laughed. And I said, well, Judge, the problem we got with that is I don't practice it. I get it right the first time. Stunned them into silence the first 30 seconds, and they never recovered. And by the way, the dumbass there didn't say 2 words to me the entire 5 months I was there. Didn't know what to do. And they're right. And you can get that good too. It does, by the way, it doesn't take much to be much better than they are. They don't have a clue. You study those 5 basic documents in my trial court packet and get up close and personal with 2 or 3 of those issues and can talk about them intelligently. You're way ahead of the ball game. And that encourages them, especially in traffic court, to dismiss charges and make you go away. And that's the way to do it. And then we come back on them because we have an unopposed record there, don't we? And they didn't challenge it, so we're right. They didn't have jurisdiction, and they acted what's called coram non judice, and now they're going to be paying us off in a civil claim for redress of grievance. That's the beauty of what I do. It all sets up like that. I'm working to do that in the Oakland case, and it may work like a charm there. So that's it. I don't want to run on too long, but it's just been an amazing to talk to this idiot attorney. And he's probably a representative of the entire group. Certainly in my 4 decades plus, I've never seen anybody that seems a lot smarter than this guy. So you tell me. I mean, where did he go? Southern New Hampshire University? Pyongyang Institute? I mean, I don't know where the hell he went to law school, but they didn't teach anything. So that's it. Look for an update next time, and I'll fill you in on the details. Thank you.